Alrighty, today is December 21st, 2023, and I've already made two fairly long videos so far, so this will be my last video of today. I know many people are probably not going to watch these videos that I'm making because they much rather watch all kinds of other random dumb stuff on YouTube. But when it comes to like really important stuff that like relates to your eternity and your soul and your connection to a higher power, most people just don't seem to care much. They much rather care about, six-pack abs or any other random shit. So many other things. They'll look at pretty much every other thing, but when it comes to about things that relating to your soul, to your eternity, your future in eternity, God the Father, things of this sort, they don't really care. So if you are one of the few people who are watching my videos and see these videos, and bless your soul, because it shows me that you kind of actually at least care and you're taking the time to search for truth, which is very rare these days because most people that watch all kinds of dumbass videos on TikTok, wasting the time day after day, not going anywhere, not learning anything, not moving forward in any meaningful way. But anyway, so the topic that I'd like to discuss in this video is the Antichrist. Alright, the Antichrist. Who's the Antichrist? Right? Everyone's like, who's the Antichrist? He's this guy, whatever. Like, and he's like sort of like the boogeyman, the mysterious boogeyman that like Christians frame him as the mysterious boogeyman that they're all afraid of, who's going to destroy the world, this, that. But you're overcomplicating things. All right. I mean, if you just look at the etymology, Antichrist, the opposite of Christ. That's all it is. That is all that it is. Antichrist is someone who preaches a doctrine or some kind of twisted form of what they call to be the gospel that leads you away from Jesus. The opposite, because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through Him. It has to be through what Jesus said. Many people, they misinterpret that verse. They don't fully understand that verse. And they think, so in order for me to go to the Father and get to heaven, I must pretty much bow down and worship Jesus, or I must accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and say a prayer in my heart, things of this sort. And Jesus, He was representing the truth, okay? He was telling you there is a way in which you should live in order for you to come back home to God the Father upon physical death. He wanted to show you the way in which you should live. He never said, you must bow down to me and acknowledge me as God in order to get to heaven. That's not what He meant. Okay? The whole gospel, He was walking the walk and talking the talk, the whole thing, to the end. Alright? So if you want to know how to find Jesus, you need to read the gospel and apply what He's teachings of the gospel to your life. Stop going to all these dumb pastors, these Joyce Meyers, these T.D. Jakes, these Joel Osteens, these Kenneth Copelands, all of these religious leaders. Just stop it. All you have to do, open the Bible and read the gospel. Alright? And just focus on Jesus. Jesus. Build the relationship with Jesus. Understand the type of person who He was. And read the gospel critically. And kind of see what is going on. And in addition, try to look through your own life and your own actions and how you live. Alright? So the key message of the gospel can be boiled down to one word. Some people will probably say, this word is love, right? And I'm very hesitant to use that word love, now to describe what the gospel really represents, because love is becoming a very, very vague word and people are misusing it all the friggin' time. So I said I'm going to use a different word. A word that doesn't actually is used as much in the English language, but it's a word that I think people should start to normalize more and live by far more often. In fact, it should be the core moral foundation, and it is compassion. What is compassion? Compassion is showing empathy and understanding for everyone, not because you want some external reward, but because you acknowledge the fact that that person has a soul, and that person is one of God's children, alright? And that is the right thing to do, to care about that person, to show understanding towards that person, to show kindness towards that person, to try to help that person and understand that they matter. Everyone matters. But so it shouldn't be the case where I'm gonna take favorites and say give this person tens and tens of millions of dollars, or this person who's standing right beside this person because he looks differently, because he's not as tall, because maybe he's of a different race, because he maybe doesn't have as many handsome features. He isn't worth shit, so I'm gonna let him die and starve. That's not how it works, and that's what this world is about. It's about hierarchy and favoritism and all this stuff. And that, again, that itself is antichrist and Luciferian. See, Christ came. He came to teach the way in which you should live in order to come back home. And remember, God the Father, He sees everything, He hears everything, and He records everything. No, literally, it's everything, every moment, every second is recorded for eternity. All right? So if you're one of these people who are committing evil in the night and then in the day you're just smiling about it and you think that you can get away with it, and everything you do is recorded, everything is energetic, everything has a karmic effect. So, Jesus Christ, He came to show you the way, and the way is compassion. All right, compassion. And He said that anyone who wishes to be my disciple must pick up the cross, deny themselves, and follow me. Now that can mean many different things to different people. But the one thing that we can all agree upon is that when He says that, He's referring to sacrifice and service. All right, sacrifice and service. And there are many of you Christians out there, you say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. But what have you sacrificed? And where is your service? You don't even talk about Jesus. You don't live Jesus. You don't strive for righteousness. You don't try to have a connection to God. And instead of focusing on yourself to connect yourself to God as much as possible, you much rather point your finger at this person outside your religion and say, you're doing this, you're bad, or better than you because I'm a Christian. I'm better, I'm close to I'm a Christian. No, cut that shit out. Because when you act this way, you are offending many. It's offensive towards, when you're hypocritical like this, it is offensive towards God because, oh my God, you think just by calling yourself a Christian, it makes you better than other people? No, because there is some people out there who they don't even call themselves Christian, but they are far more compassionate and less judgmental, understanding, and empathetic than the Christians. Jesus is, first off, because Jesus is not your thing that people have to come to you to get. Jesus is for everyone in the whole universe and all the other universes. Right? And Jesus represents compassion. The reason why I'm not going to say love, because that word has been abused and twisted so much. People, they love their ego. They love their car. They love their narcissism. They love their vanity. They love their greed. They only love their children. They don't give a damn about other people's children. Some people don't even love their own children or people in their family. But or they love pleasure too. It's funny because I saw this this actress on Twitter, and she was like Caucasian lady, and she's like she's outspoken. She was outspoken atheist. Like, oh, I'm an atheist and I believe in love. I kind of like giggled to myself and looked back at it. I'm like, what, love for yourself? Love for pleasure? Love for your own personal happiness? Love for your car? Love for your ego? Love for your fame? So that's how that word love gets twisted, Luciferians, they have love for selfishness. Love for money, love for material items, and love for the ego. What Jesus represented was compassion, empathy, understanding, patience, kindness, not envying, not boasting, and not being so proud, arrogant. Oh, look at me, ego-driven. I'm better than you. Everyone should bow down and worship me. I'm the top dog. No, cut that shit out. That is ungodliness. And when you act that way, you're acting more like the angel of light than you are like Christ. Because remember, Christ is the Father's begotten Son. All right. And what He came and He rode in on a donkey. All right. This is a sign of even humility. Right. Excuse me. See, Christ, humility doesn't mean that you should be a weakling or get abused or any of that shit. Because Christ, He was a badass, He was a warrior, He was very intelligent, He was very smart, and He was also a very, very disagreeable person. People think that he was a softy and a very effeminate man. But no, he was actually a very masculine, intelligent, dominant person because he said, "This is how it should be, and I'm not gonna compromise for you guys because this is the Father's will, and I'm telling it to you, and you better follow, or there will be consequences." Pretty much what he said, and he told the truth. He went around his campaign saying that. So the message of the gospel, it is compassion. Just remember that. Compassion. That's it. And you want someone to follow? You want a leader? Then you follow Christ. And you follow wherever Christ takes you, even if that is to the ends of the earth. Because just know, even if your life is taken from you, they can do whatever they want to you. But as long as you are following Christ, once your physical flesh, they can kill your physical flesh. But you always be there with you. In fact, if they can kill you right now and you die, it's even possible that he may just literally just be standing there right beside you, say, "Take my hand, let's go." That reminds me of something Joe had when this man was a sinner, a blasphemer, and he pretty much went down a very, very, very dark path. And then one day I think he OD'd or something happened. He had a near-death experience. Demon grabbed him. And then guess who came from? It wasn't even Jesus. It was God the Father. God. Joe said that God came and he said, "Take my hand. Take my hand." He pulled him out. But that's a different story for another time. But what I'm saying is that you need to pick up your cross and you need to dedicate your life for service and compassion, because this world does not believe in compassion. They believe predominantly in selfishness. And it is everywhere. Selfishness, ego. I must consume all the resources. I must gather as much resources as possible. Nobody else matters but myself and perhaps my wife and my kids. Everyone else is against me, and I have to consume as much as possible. I have to gather as many resources. That's why you have the case where one guy will have billions and billions of dollars, and you come to his family for a family reunion, where he'll sit down with them, and one of his nephews was trying to pitch him a play that he's making, saying, "Oh, I kind of need a little bit of money, and if I can do this, I can get some money." And this man is a billionaire, and his nephew is like, "I need $4,000 to do this. Can you help me, uncle, or whatever your name is?" And he'll be like, "Oh no, I can't. You're just gonna, Jay-Z. I'm talking about you, Jay-Z." That's pretty much, that's very dark, twisted, evil shit. Because I know some family members, they can be very bad. They can squander what you give them. But if you like them enough to spend time with them and give them stuff, and you know that they're hungry and they're starving, and you are a billionaire, and just giving them a little bit of money, you're complaining about it. Christ pretty much, he said the love of money is the root of all evil. So that really makes you raise your eyebrow when you live in a world where billionaires, won't even help their own family members who are struggling and starving. However, they still visit them and they spend time together and they smile on their face. But it's kind of weird. So as I said, selfishness is the king of this world, and selfishness is Luciferian, and that's the guiding principle: selfishness. And if you're somebody who wants to follow Christ, if someone you call yourself a Christian, then selfishness is your enemy. All right, and you need to battle that with compassion. Now, there are many guys in this world. There are many people who are authorities, and there are many people who are rulers, and there are many people who are teachers. And it's come to my attention that these teachers, many of them, they've developed their own philosophies and teachings. All right, and if you scrutinize them, you realize that if you follow these philosophies and teachings, they're not going to lead you any closer to Christ than you were at the beginning. In fact, some of them will lead you straight away in the arms of the devil. 50 Cent, I'm talking to you. Because you know what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. Well, not everybody, unfortunately. Not everyone knows, but like anyone who has a brain, who actually knows what's up, and who's seen you, they know that you are a satanic, Luciferian, fallen angel bastard. And you don't even, and it's funny though, because you don't really exactly even realize it. You don't realize how fucking deep you are in. But anyway, that's another video topic. Alright, I want to stay on track. Right now, I'm talking about the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist. Alright, anything that leads you away from compassion. That's the message of the gospel. Anything that leads you away from compassion. That is the spirit of the Antichrist. Compassion should be your number one focus in this life, because that is the representation of God the Father. and Christ, who is shown to us through Christ. Compassion, empathy, kindness, understanding, sharing with other people, trying to help other people, caring about other people. But we live in a society where you could be suffering and dying in a lot of pain, and people will just be like flipping. They'll look at you and be like, oh, in fact, some of them will even laugh at you. They will laugh at you, they will mock you, and they'll be happy that you're in the dirt, dying and bleeding out. Okay? It's a weird society that we are living in. I'll give you an example. I came in this country in December 31st, 2022. So sometime in January, I was at Friends Hospital, Philadelphia. And then toward the entrance of the hospital, I see somewhat of a senior citizen, a person of color who has a briefcase beside him, and he's yelling out for help. So this person, he kind of looks handicapped, or like he's in trouble. And this is at Friends Hospital, by the way. It's an estate. It's a very rich, well-maintained estate. So it isn't the case that they're like thieves hiding in the bushes, or the place is insecure and not safe. It's a very safe, relatively safe area. And there was no place for anybody, thieves, to hide or anything like that. And you just have this man who has a suitcase beside him, and he's on the side of the road, and it's inside the hospital, the entrance to the hospital, and he's yelling, screaming for help. Somebody help me, help me. And the cars are just driving right by him. People are walking by him, and he's yelling at people, please help me. Because this man, he was like blind because he took some drugs that messed up his vision, so he couldn't see anything. Even like the freaking the sidewalk, when you have to step on the sidewalk, he'll trip and fall over because his vision was that bad, you know. However, people in this society, they are so selfish that they won't even talk to you, help you, or do anything, mess with you all if it doesn't benefit them. It's all about them. And they look at this guy like, it won't benefit me to help this man who is in pain, who needs assistance, because so I'm going to just ignore this human being and let him die on the street in the cold, because it was cold outside. And he was yelling for help. Luckily, I had an interview at the hospital that day, and I saw him. So my first instinct was to go over and see what's up, you know. And then when I came to him, he bursted out crying, and he gave me a hug, and he just felt so bad that everyone was so cold and wicked to him. And it's just insane because you people, you worship Beyonce, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, all these celebrities, and they show up, you'll run to their feet. You'll kiss the ground that they walk on. Oh, sign my autograph. Oh, you're amazing, Dwayne. Oh, you're an amazing Katy Perry. You're amazing, Beyonce. We worship you. But then the guys on the street, and you don't even care about them all. You play this weird game when you take favorites. These guys are so beautiful, so great, so mighty, so talented, so good. While this man, you're nothing but a worthless nigger. All right, because I went to Friends Hospital, and that's what one of the janitors pretty much referred to me as, you know, because apparently that's how you people are. You're very sick and you're twisted, and you're very selfish, and you're very hierarchical. But this is not about hierarchy and other stuff. I'm going to focus more on selfishness and the Antichrist, because the Antichrist spirit is a spirit of selfishness, because selfishness is the opposite of the gospel, and the main message of the gospel is compassion. And you listen to all these philosophers, these preachers, these teachers saying this, that. If it's leading you towards selfishness, then it is Antichrist. It is Antichrist. And why are you listening to these people? Jesus was the best teacher out there. The best. And his life was documented in the gospel. So you want to learn how to be a badass? You want to learn how to survive? You want to learn how to thrive? You want to learn how to please God the Father? You want to learn how to build infinite riches, not in this world, but in the next one? That requires sacrifice. And that requires you to follow, listening to the words of Christ and living like Christ did. Or at least trying your best. And carrying your cross every single day. Doing whatever it takes. You know, wherever it takes you. But no, you must, instead of opening your Bible and reading the gospel about Jesus Christ, you must rather listen to this bozo, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, who this secularist, who pretty much lived as an atheist most of his entire life, and now later on in his 60s, he's trying to like going into this God phase where he's kind of like sort of discovering God. Yet at the same time, he talks about God all the time. Yet at the same time, if you ask him and you believe in God, he won't even publicly admit it. He won't even publicly acknowledge Jesus. He will talk about the Bible, all these different stories of the Bible and this, that. But when it comes to the story that matters the most important person in the Bible ever, the story of Jesus, he will skim over it and not even pay that much close attention. Interesting. And the Jesus story is not even that hard to understand, but it's just very, very interesting. And in that interview that he had with Piers Morgan, Piers Morgan asked him, "Do you believe in God?" He deflected it over and over and over again. That should be very, very tough. If you're a Christian, are you seeing this? That should raise some huge red flags. And in addition, he said that one of his favorite books, or the book he'd recommend reading, or philosopher, was Nietzsche. Nietzsche. Do you know who Nietzsche is? Listen, I didn't read all of Nietzsche's work, but isn't he the guy who said God is dead? And he also said, what is he? I think he said he's also known for seeing Jesus as a loser, because Jesus did not pick up a literal sword and cut someone down. Nietzsche, whoa! You see, a lot of these Western philosophers, some of them are in evil darkness, and you go to university, and we're learning all about them. I mean, it's interesting to see how they think, but if you start to really adapt and integrate their philosophies in your life, that can be a potentially very, very dangerous thing. Jesus Christ, all right, the gospel. I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. So if you're trying to get to Jesus, to God the Father, through Jordan Peterson, you will fail. You will fail, because Jordan Peterson, he already showed that you're either with God the Father, or you're with the world. The world is Luciferian, all right? The world is Lucifer's domain. So this weird game that you're playing, Jordan B. Peterson, where you're talking about God and all this stuff, while you're still sitting beside these elites, and you want to be a worldly man, and you may be able to fool other people, but I'm seeing you very well, and you're in a weird place, and you better watch yourself, because you will be held accountable and responsible for everyone who you lead astray. Because Jesus talks about people like you in the Word of Christ document, which I can definitely make another video about and go into more detail. But just know, you don't fool me 1 second. You do not fool me at all. All right? And right now, when I hear you speak, when I see you, I sense the spirit of the Antichrist. Because you will not acknowledge Jesus Christ. You will not acknowledge that, the world needs to change, and we have gone astray. And we have to listen to Christ. You will have all this sophistry in the world and circumlocution. You go on and on. You'll use all this language, all of these words, saying this is that, almost like you're trying to conceal and hide and run away from the truth, like a goddamn fucking coward. Because that, at your heart, is what you are. Because you do not want to face the truth that God the Father does exist. You will not publicly even acknowledge Him. You don't even want to say it out loud. You see. That is the spirit of the Antichrist I am saying to you. And if you're someone who you are a Caucasian young person and you're looking for a guidance and a role model in society, someone to help you and follow you, you need to be very careful with this Jordan B. Peterson guy. Right? Because he's Caucasian, you are Caucasian, he's older, he has more experience in life than you, he has a PhD in psychology. This man is dangerous. This is my warning to you. Follow Christ. Let Christ speak to you. And then you live by the gospel and go wherever that takes you and do what you must. But this whole idea where you want to be a worldly person, you want to follow Jordan B. Peterson. Christ said, I come in my Father's name, you accept me not. Yet he who comes in his own name, you accept him. All right? I'm not sure exactly what verse that is. I don't remember. You have to look it up. I'm pretty sure Christ said that. Now, let me repeat that. Christ said, I come in my Father's name, you accept me not. Yet he who comes in his own name, you will accept him. Christ came for you. He came to show you the way, what to do to get out, what to do to be a winner in life. He never said it'll be easy. He never said it'll be simple. You have to pick up his cross and fall. You have to pick up your cross and fall. Live by compassion. All right, but instead, following Christ is like, I'm going to follow Jordan B. Peterson instead. Jordan B. Peterson will lead you to destruction. He will lead you to destruction. Because remember, this man lived most of his life in darkness. He was an atheist who, I would go crazy personally, because it baffles me. He was an atheist. Even his daughter, Michaela Peterson, she said some really weird thing that this whole God thing to her just seemed weird as some kind of foreign concept. She said something like that, or like it was some mystical thing. Like, these people were so weird. Well, to me at least, because God always, to some people, they just always know that God exists no matter what. It's just like the story of Job. You can torture them, you can destroy their house, everything. The devil can fuck them up, but they will never blaspheme God, because they know that nope, there is a God. So you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can't deceive me, you can't trick me, whatever. There is God. Always. And he loves me. That's just how it is. We just know this stuff by intuition. And this, as I said, this man, Jordan B. Peterson, he was an atheist for the majority of his life. And even now, he does not want to fully repent and come back. He wants to play this weird game. And he also speaks lies, too. On Twitter, he's pretty much said, I can make a whole video about this, talking about this, but on Twitter, he wrote a tweet, which is a goddamn fucking lie, and I just sat back and I kind of giggled and laughed, because it was a contradiction, a huge contradiction, and I'm going to definitely get to that later. I will deal with that later. That's for another video. What I'm saying is that a lot of these rulers and these authorities in the world, they do not have your best interest at heart. They're more interested in getting their own colleagues praise, building up their legacy, and accumulating financial resources to spread their gene ego. All right? If you're a young white dude and you want guidance, just know that Jordan B. Peterson is not your pal. He's not your pal. He will very well, he's playing some weird game. All right? This man is selfish. He cares about himself the most. All right? And he's just, I guess, pretending to perhaps care about other people. But at the end of the day, he's about serving him. He isn't about serving Christ. It's about serving humanity, the good guys, doing the will of God, the will of service of Christ, because he doesn't understand those certain things. As I said, did he acknowledge Jesus? Did he acknowledge the truth of the gospel? Did he acknowledge God the Father? No, he didn't. When asked about this several times, he deflects it and suggests you read Nietzsche. Guys, it's right there in front of you. Nietzsche himself is Antichrist. He says dumb things about, or he has dumb beliefs about Jesus. Nietzsche had dumb beliefs about Jesus and said God is dead. So what does a punk like that have to do with telling you anything? And if you're someone who reads Nietzsche and you're advising these young kids, so again, you're like a wolf who will lead these people to destruction, Jordan B. Peterson. And for that, I pity you. So right now, you're playing a very strange, weird game, because you have one foot in the world and one foot kind of like towards God. But as it says in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, because you are not fully for me or against me, I spit you out. Let me say that again. Because you are not fully for me or fully against me, I spit you out. If you believe in God in your heart, or if you think God is out there, why don't you just keep on digging and digging and digging and searching and searching and searching for him? Why don't you say, I want to fully commit myself to serving you, because you are the one who made my soul, and I want to be good. All right? Because that's what you should do. But instead, there's some people who say, oh yeah, I kind of believe in God, but you focus your whole entire life on getting as much money as possible, on getting your colleagues praise, and building a monument to your name. Jordan B. Peterson University. Oh, look how great and mighty Jordan B. Peterson is. Look, things like this, they do not matter. Your ego, what is ego? And you have, Jordan B. Peterson, you have a very limited false context. You don't understand this reality nearly as well as you do. Because if you think that our goal in life is to spread our seed, and extend our progeny and go up to the start, things of the sort, again, your context is false. You need to read the gospel and understand what's really going on. Because you're very likely, I know you're being tricked and deceived by demons. Yeah, these are real entities, or let's just say Luciferians because they're humans. Luciferians. Yeah, because you yourself are Luciferian, but you're getting tricked by other Luciferians, and Luciferians always trick and betray each other because they are selfish bastards, just like the Sith in Star Wars. It is real life Star Wars, you know. And Jordan Peterson is part of the Empire, so you're gonna either choose to be, you're gonna join the Empire, or you're gonna be a Jedi or a Rebel. I chose to be a Jedi. You know, I mean, I chose to fight Darth Vader instead of join Darth Vader. You know, or maybe try to turn Darth Vader to the light side. Jordan Peterson is like freaking Darth Vader. It's just he's very good at masquerading and pretending that he isn't, but he believes at his core in selfishness because the world is selfishness and he is of the world. Okay. He's a worldly man, and this world is Luciferian because it's run by selfishness, and that's why the humans act the way that they do. Many of them are psychopathic. Many of them abuse each other badly with their language, with their words, with their actions. Many of them financial rapists, thieves, sexual rapists, all kinds of twisted, sick, weird stuff happen, even in this very country, America. Spirit of the Antichrist. If all of us followed Christ in our hearts, man, there wouldn't even be any need for government. Because all of us, we would love each other. We have compassion towards each other. You see? I believe, in fact, I'm quite sure that the only rule in heaven is compassion. That's it. Compassion. But some of you do not fully even understand what that means, so that's too bad. But if you're someone who has no compassion in your heart and you choose selfishness, you have no business up there. Alright? Because we do not like selfish people messing around with other people. They piss us off. We don't selfish. You want to be selfish? You stay down here on earth. Earth, selfishness is king. Okay? Earth is the devil's turf. Selfishness is king. So if you love selfishness, then you stay down here on earth. When you die, you will stay down here on earth. You will never return home. Because the absolute reality God the Father, heaven, compassion is the one key principle, the law. That's all. I'm sure that may probably other thing, but it's just the main core thing is compassion. And many of you are on the side of selfishness. And that is why I pity you. And I'm making these videos so perhaps maybe I can reach out to people. Maybe I can help them in some kind of way. But you need to be very, very careful because the spirit of the Antichrist is pervasive in this society. Compassion. You are not sure what compassion is? Read the gospel and try to understand it at a deep psychological level. Also, do a lot of shadow work, alright? Introspection. Dig inside your psyche. Try to understand who you are. Know thyself. And do not allow yourself to be deceived by the spirit of the Antichrist, which is in this man, Jordan B. Peterson. So Jordan B. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, whatever, until you fully decide to get with Christ and God and acknowledge God the Father, then you will be my enemy. And you will be the enemy of any true person who wishes to follow Christ and God the Father and who can see your lies, your circumlocution, your sophistry. Yeah, will tilt the world away from hell and towards heaven. What does that mean? The only way to get to heaven is through Christ. I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. So you say these things at our convention, and I'm just listening. I'm rolling my eye. Your colleagues, they all clap. Oh, this is so great, great, great. You say all these words because you are pretty much hiding the truth because you are confused and you are lost. Because you know that this world is selfish and it is twisted and it is hell. And you want to tilt it towards heaven. Well, you can't tilt this world towards heaven and people act like hellions. And the only way to stop them from acting like hellions is to live by compassion. The gospel of Christ. Yet you yourself, you conveniently ignore, you talk about all these Bible stories. Yet you barely talk about the story of Christ and the real significance behind it. That you murdered God the Father's only begotten Son because he told you that you should stop being fucking assholes. And in a nice way too, he's so kind. He didn't even condemn you guys that bad. He just showed, guys, this is what you should do. You should be kind to each other. Leave that prostitute alone. Stop being so hypocritical. Yet here we are. We have Christians pretty much stoning the gays the way that they were going to stone that prostitute. I'm like, do you not listen to what Jesus said? Do you not listen to the Jesus said? So you're part of the reason why so many gays are against the God the Father. Because they think, oh, God hates me, and if he's anything like these Christians, I don't want anything to do with him. And I can talk about. I don't want to talk too much about the homosexuality and stuff like that, but I'm saying the spirit of the Antichrist is anything that leads you away from compassion. The key message of the gospel, you know, and compassion, that is like a force. It's just like Star Wars, because it can make you strong, it gives you life, it gives you strength, it revitalizes you. But when you live in selfishness and you indulge in those drugs and it's just me, you're left empty. Case in point, look at this guy Marshall Mathers, Eminem. The only time he gets a high is when his fans worship him, but even then will be taken away from him. But anyway, that's another topic again. So I just want to say the spirit of the Antichrist, it is everywhere. It's pervasive throughout the society, and you need to be able to watch and protect yourself from it. Okay? I can give a whole list of people who I can sense the spirit inside. This selfishness, this egotism, this narcissism, this vanity, this pride, this lasciviousness, this apathy, this sadism, this malice. So many people, all Antichrist features. You need to know, familiarize yourself with those words and know what those things are. And if you can't sense them in other people, that's good. The reason why you can't sense it in other people is because you probably have it in yourself too. You see? It's like an ability. You develop the ability to sense these things, so it's going to be an interesting journey. But anyway, the spirit of the Antichrist, that is a real spirit. And if that takes you over, it will lead you away from Christ. You know? Simple as that. So I hope this video managed to help people, enlighten them, you know. And I'm not expecting many people to watch this now, but hopefully in the future it's going to get out there. Anyway, I'll be closing out now. Be blessed, everyone, and be strong. And remember, God the Father loves you, and so does Jesus Christ. Just read the gospel, understand who he was. Bye.